Hey, good morning, folks. Today we're going to be checking out all the flowers in my garden because I just came out here this morning and I was like, oh my gosh, my garden is covered in flowers. Am I like a flower gardener or am I trying to produce vegetables here? Boom. First flower I always notice when I come out in the morning is these male Seminole pumpkin blooms. And check this out. There is literally a little green bee inside of this flower right now. That's awesome. So my pollinators are getting a feed this morning off of this Seminole pumpkin. That is a beautiful insect. Let's go check out some more. Oh, look at this. There's a bee in this one as well, along with a bunch of like fruit flies or something. Man, oh, there's two down there. There are two green bees way down that flower. They're just devouring this thing, getting lots of nectar, some pollen. This just looks awesome. And we've got another one up here. Boom. We got a bee in there. And a bunch of fruit flies. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, let's go check out some other flowers. This is the Seminole pumpkin. Oh my gosh, those two little flies are mating. Oh, that's so awkward. Huh. Alright, this flower right here is isn't part of my garden. It's actually just a weed, but the pollinators love them. It's called spiderwort, and they put out new flowers every single day. So I just let it grow because it's not super invasive, and the flowers are really pretty. They give me new flowers every day, and there's a leaf-footed bug right there. And they're just really great flowers to have in my garden. They're beautiful. So some of them are purple, and sometimes I get some white ones in here as well. And just like with the Seminole pumpkins, these watermelons, they put out a lot of blooms, and little yellow ones, and they're pretty nice. Pollinators tend to like them. Oh, there we go. And it's funny, we don't really think about these little flies as pollinators, but they're absolutely pollinators. They get in there, they suck on nectar, they get pollen on them, and they go bring it to another flower. So I got tons of pollinators in my garden, and it's just awesome to see. So I'm always thinking about, like, how can I make this the best place ever for pollinators? Which brings me to my next plant, which is probably one of my favorites. Boom, look at this. This is a passion flower, and this is just a wild one that randomly popped up, but just look how intricate this flower is. It's totally alien looking. Looks like something you'd find in a jungle, and actually there are some in jungles, but this is a native to North America, and it just randomly came up in my yard after I kind of broke up the soil. So I disturbed the ground, and this one came up. But the big insects absolutely love these flowers. Big old bees, big old bumblebees. I even saw a cicada killer wasp on here, and the carpenter bees love it as well. But this is just such a cool flower and such a cool plant. And it's also a host plant for Gulf fritillaries and for zebra longwing butterflies. So there's some caterpillars on here. We'll check those out real quick. Oh, check this out. This is loaded with eggs. I mean, man, there's so many eggs on the end of this thing. So I can't really tell what kind of eggs they are, but you know, they're one of those two butterfly species, and those will hatch in a few days, and we'll have a bunch of baby caterpillars just ravaging on this passion vine. All right, check this out. This is a newly hatched caterpillar here. See that little guy sitting up there? And so they're actually gonna grow extremely fast. And what I've been noticing is after they hatch, they'll get a little size on them and then they disappear. I don't know if they just get better at hiding or what happens to them. Maybe they just grow up into adults and make cocoons or something. But I've been seeing a few baby freshly hatched caterpillars here and there on this vine. All right, here we go. Here's some a little bit bigger ones. They're starting to get their little tufts of hair on them, and these are looking like Gulf fritillary butterflies. They're orange, and the zebra longwings look just the same, except they're going to be white with these little tufts of hair. And so you can see where they've been chomping away, and this is their host plant, and it's just doing an awesome job in the garden, producing more pollinators for my garden. And this isn't only good for my plants, but it also just makes them more beautiful. Like, it's awesome seeing butterflies just fluttering around your garden all the time. Oh man, this is one of my favorite flowers to see in the garden. This is the okra, and okra is related to hibiscus and other mallows, but to me the okra bloom is just probably one of the prettiest in here. It's always so pristine, always so sharp looking. Look at those lines on there. And usually only lasts for the morning. By evening time it's all wilted and gone. So I love being out here in the morning and seeing it in such beautiful condition. And they just stand out. I mean, you can see a okra bloom, you know, from across the yard, and they're just a pleasure to experience out in this garden. This is a bloom, you probably don't know what it is, but this is actually peanut. This is a peanut plant, and they make little blooms. As far as like pollinators go, I don't really see a lot of pollinators on these, but maybe just because there's only a couple and they're kind of hidden underneath the plant here. But it's cool seeing these little spots of yellow in amongst my peanut plants. And this one's doing pretty good. It's yeah, it's getting large and in charge, but it puts on a few here and there, and hopefully as it gets bigger it puts on even more, because just a little bit of color, you know, besides green is really attractive, and you know, it kind of gives you a better mood in the morning. So very similar to the watermelon blooms is the honeydew blooms, and same as cantaloupe is pretty much the same. And so it's fun seeing these blooms out here in the morning. It's just another splash of yellow in the garden that looks really nice. And very similar to the melons, this cucumber vine, man, it's got a lot of blooms on it. There's a bunch back there, but it's really nice. It's green and yellow. Aesthetic is just beautiful. And what's interesting is the butterflies seem to prefer these over the melon flat blooms. So that's pretty neat. And then also, you know, these are growing up a trellis here, so it gets a little bit higher. I don't think the butterflies really like to be pollinating real close to the ground, because there could be like ground predators and stuff. And so these flowers getting up a little higher is preferable to them. So right here we have our actually tomato blooms, and there's really not much special to them. There's like hundreds of them on this plant, but they're not very showy, but they're very subtle. And you know, it's nice seeing them, because you know tomatoes are going to be coming in like a week or two. So these are really just an indicator pointing forward to what we're really out here for, which is, you know, these little red tomatoes in here. So oh man, all right, I can't resist. That's just good looking. What the heck is this? This is red amaranth, and I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. It's pretty much like candy in my garden though, and so I wanted to breed it. And actually my wife and I were on a walk, and a neighbor had this growing in their yard, and it went to seed. So I just shook some seeds into my hand and threw them in here, and one of them started growing. And so, you know, hey, I'm gonna absolutely save seed again and plant it throughout my garden, because I mean, it's so unique, so alien looking. And I mean, look at that. That's straight up chartreuse there. Hold on, let me get this in focus. Yeah, so this is just a very unique and uncommon color that just pops in the garden. Now, we all like flowers because they're so delicate and beautiful and just perfectly crafted most times. But the really cool part, and that is good, that's obviously an aesthetic benefit, but the really cool part is they're like little portals to genetic exchange. And so all of these are just like openings to the plant, so that when we get new fruit, we get new genetics. And that's what creates this kind of infinite diversity on the planet, really. And so when we exchange these genetics, it just makes an entirely new thing that's never existed before. It makes uniqueness and diversity. And so when I see a flower, we see the aesthetic part of it, but we also see the unseen. How do we see that? No, but we can recognize these unseen properties and these unseen functions that are occurring in the genetics. And to me that's really special, because when I pick a fruit and save the seeds, I know that because I've got all these flowers, I've got all these pollinators, that my seed is going to be genetically unique, genetically diverse, and so that when I replant them, they're going to be strong, and I'm going to get, at the end of the day, more food. So at the end of the day, more flowers, more pollinators equals more food. And that's why I love pollinators. That's why I always encourage flowers to bring in more pollinators to do an even better job at pollinating all my plants. And when you got pollinators and you got flowers, it's a recipe for success. This is just how this world works. And so I'm always saying you gotta recognize what's truth in your garden. And this is what's truth, is that when we have flowers and we have pollinators, good things happen. So you guys have a great day. Plant some food stuff that also has lots of flowers, and enjoy it, and recognize and appreciate it. All right, see you guys. Bye.